everybody, I'm Maggie, Mrs. Calabash Cooks. Come into my kitchen. It's cold and it's damp and it's that sort of weather. So today we're going to make a sweet potato, carrot, red lentil and apple soup. And this is a little bit spicy, but not too spicy. You can make it as spicy as you like, but it's nice and warming and filling. It's comfort food in a bowl. So let's go back to the stove and let's start. Come on, back to the stove with me. In here, now you can see I've already checked off as I do my prep. I have, sometimes I have a memory problem and I can be making something and realise, oh, I've left an ingredient out. So it's always an idea, just as you're getting ready, do your prep. And I always like to do the prep before I start cooking. Always, always, always. So in here, I've got a little butter and some olive oil. And I'm just going to melt the two together. Now the oil will stop the butter from burning, as well as adding flavour. So let's just get that. You see, I'm putting my hand over the top, and then I can feel when it's warm. Not quite there yet. So I'm going to just saute the onions. I've chopped the onions very, very finely first. I want to just saute the onions for a few minutes before I add the other vegetables. Now, people that follow me know I'm always saying, when you're cooking a soup, cut as finely as possible, because the more cut edges you've got, the more flavour comes out into the soup. Now that's just the opposite when you're making a casserole. You need larger pieces to keep the flavour in the soup. So I just want to saute these for a few minutes until they become transparent. It doesn't take many seconds. And in here I've got some freshly grated ginger, spices, and in this bowl, look, I've got sweet potato. We're going to have to hunt. Sweet potato and carrot. Lovely. And you can see I've cut into quite a fine dice. So I'm going to add those. Like that. And we're going to saute until they come a little bit tender. It doesn't take many seconds. They're very, very finely cut. And I've got freshly grated ginger. I'm going to add that. I like to add that at this stage to get all the flavour. And in here, with the spices, I've got chilli powder, cumin and turmeric. And I'm going to add these just now whilst these are cooking. We need to saute the spices so that they're not raw, otherwise they taste quite raw. I have a very strong tolerance of spice. I think that's how you would put it nicely. And so I've been a little bit gentle with the spice. If you can always add some more chili powder, chili pepper afterwards. But if you like a really, really spicy soup, then just chop up a little red chili pepper and put that in instead of the chili powder. But we've got some from the garden, but they are very, very potent. And so I thought I would err on the side of caution today. So these vegetables are becoming tender. Just keep stirring, because at this stage they could stick to the bottom of the pan because you've not got a lot of oil in there. So just make sure that they're not sticking. Now, the traditional herb for this is cilantro. But some people like cilantro. I love cilantro. Other people hate it with a passion. Derek hates cilantro. He can't even bear the smell of it. So there's no good me putting cilantro in here. So you can add basil instead of cilantro, or parsley. And today I'm going to put parsley in. But the traditional herb for this is cilantro. Now you can see it's just starting to stick. Look, it's just starting to stick a little bit on the bottom of the pan. So that means that we're ready for the next step. And this is apple. Again, chopped very, very finely. That will add a little bit of moisture. Now, you see, I've done all the prep beforehand, and apple can go brown. It's the air getting to it, so I've got one of these little bowls that I put in. And also, I put some water and lemon juice over the apple, and that stops it turning brown. So just keep it really, you have to just keep stirring round. The herb, parsley, cilantro, whatever you're going to use. Now just cook that for a few minutes. We want the apple to get a little bit cooked. It won't take long because the apple I'm using was a very, very ripe apple. And now we've got either chicken broth or vegetable broth. I'm using chicken broth today, but I'm going to put that in, 4 cups of chicken broth. We might have to add some more broth at the end because it depends how it thickens. And I've got red lentils. They're going to go in there, like that. There we are. And I'm going to add just a little bit of seasoning at this stage, not a lot, because as the vegetables cook and the spices, they're going to give their own seasoning. But we just need a little salt and pepper at this stage. I'm going to bring it up to the boil, and then we will let it simmer until everything's cooked. Now, to make your own vegetable broth, if you don't want to buy a bouillon, when you're peeling your pairings, save them. You know, you've got your sweet potato in there and your carrot pairings. Save those, and all the other pairings, if you're having a cauliflower, all the hard bits and the green bits, save them in a plastic bag. I save them in the fridge, and then I boil them up, and that makes a vegetable broth. Now, if you're in a hurry to do this, you know, you're going to come home from work, because it will take a few minutes to cook this. Sometimes I've already cooked my sweet potato a little bit so that it's not raw. It's about half cooked. And I've already cooked the lentils, or I've had the lentils to soak. And if I'm in a real bind, I will use canned lentils. And this cuts down on the cooking time. I know what it's like. You get in for work, especially in the dark evenings, and you're hungry, it's cold and it's dark outside. You want food sort of straight away. So do that, and then it will mean that you can eat very, very quickly. And once this is cooked, we're going to liquidize it with a hand blender. So this is going to come up to the boil any minute now. Then I'm going to turn down the heat, put the lid on, and let that gently cook for about another 15, probably 25 minutes. Call it half an hour before we finished. So let's just turn down the heat, put the lid on like that. All the steam's going to go inside. We're going to preserve all the nice nutrients and taste. And so we'll come back to this in about half an hour. So let it cook gently, and then we'll finish.
Okay, we're recording.
Hi, we're back. let's have a look. This has taken about half an hour. So I've got, yes, the vegetables are beautifully soft. I can see, let's see if I can just lift this up for you. You can tell, look, the vegetables are beautifully soft. I think I did have a taste a few minutes ago, and to me, it's going to need some more spice and some more seasoning. But let's just turn the heat down, and we're going to emulse these with the immersion blender. Start at the top and work your way down through the mixture. Just go top and push it down, and then you get a nice puree. I like to leave a few vegetables floating around, and then this needs, to me, it's a little bit thick. I'm going to thin it. There we are. Now, you can either thin with some more stock, water. I have a little stock there left over. Let's unplug that so we don't have any accidents. Move that out of the way, away from the water. Now, I'm going to add a drop of cream to this. You can, if you've got the dregs of a bottle of white wine, add a drop of white wine. Let's just add a little drop of cream. This is some cream that I had left over from the weekend. Use a 35% cream, a double cream. And then if you've got any soup left over, you reheat and you boil, it's not going to separate. I'm going to add a drop, just a drop more stock. Now, I know this is going to need some more spice because I tasted it, I cheated. I can't taste. I'll pick that up in a minute. I'm going to add a little more. My chili powder is a little bit old, and so it loses its potency. This is why I say don't buy spices in large amounts, because they lose, the volatile oils go and you lose the potency. I might just add a little cayenne pepper to it. It's on the border. It's, dare I, just look, I'm being very, very cautious. I made soup the other day and added too much of this. I liked it. There we are. We'll have another taste. A little salt and pepper. It's good because you see the potatoes are quite sweet, and you've got the sweetness of the apple in there, so you need to counteract. Perfection. Oh, that is so good. I can sit and eat all of that. So let's take this over to the butcher block. Oh, there we are. I have a casserole soup tureen waiting. Let's just put this over into the sink. Wipe down your board. And I do have a little parsley to bring to the table. I would just put some sprigs of parsley on like that, so you can see it looks nice. But to serve, I've got a soup bowl, a plate, some yogurt. Now the yogurt is optional. If you have a really spicy soup, swirl some yogurt on the top and that takes away the spice. A fresh crusty loaf of bread. So here we go. This is where I can make a mess. So ladle into the soup bowl like that. Always just clean round the edge. There we go. A nice swirling of yogurt on the top. I use a 3% yogurt for this because it can disintegrate on you a little bit. Oh look, we've made a mess. Fortunately, I have my cloth down here. There we are. A little parsley for serving. I think this might be the last of my parsley in the garden. I brought it in, but who knows? I'm not very good at growing herbs inside. We've got the yogurt there. Which end should I cut? Some nice fresh bread. And being very Yorkshire, I've got a slab of Wensleydale cheese. Now, if you've never tried Wensleydale cheese, you're in for a treat. I'm going to serve this with a couple of slices. Wensleydale is made in Yorkshire. So a couple of slices of Wensleydale cheese to eat with that. And lunch is served. So enjoy. Lunch or supper, whatever. I like this for lunch. It's a good hearty soup. There's lots in there, so please go to mrscalabashcooks.com. That's our website. You will see any donations, if you would like to subscribe, are gratefully received to help us keep going. And for $12, then I will name the show after you. You'll see it on the screen. Subscribe by whatever, Derek Smith. And if you have recipes which you would like me to put up, 2 recipes, then I will do that for you. But please watch us on Facebook, Mrs. Calabash Cooks, and we've got a chat show Tuesday night at 7:30. We sit round the table and everybody writes in the questions. I have a monitor in front of me, so anything that you've got on your mind, any questions that you've got, I can answer, or maybe other members of the cooking club can answer for you. And also the fact 2 o'clock on a Friday we do our regular show. So thank you very much for watching and enjoy.